Qualcomm has just released a new Snapdragon X Plus chip. It is less powerful but will be in more affordable laptops. We think this is a great thing, as their laptops have been outstanding for users who just don't need a lot of performance. Those doing light tasks such as office, web browsing and that sort of thing. For these kind of users, they have certainly delivered improved battery life, less heat you feel, and less fan noise. That is when compared with the Windows laptops that came before them. And these processors have generally been included in fairly high quality devices for their price, so they offer excellent value. Now, this new Snapdragon X Plus chip is known as the 42100. It has 8 cores, which is 2 less than the X Plus 64100 chip and 4 less than the X Elite chips. It also has a significantly less powerful integrated GPU that should deliver around half the performance. And Asus has just come out with a new configuration of their Vivobook S15, which includes this new chip. Quick refresher on the Vivobook S15. It was Sierra's favorite Snapdragon laptop in the roundup video that we did on them. That's because it has a stunning 15.6-inch OLED display, a good keyboard, great port selection, and it is light for its size. But as it is not a premium laptop, there are several corners cut. Its overall build quality isn't as high as other laptops. Its trackpad isn't competitive with premium ones, for example the haptic trackpad in the Surface Laptop 7. That being said, for its price, the Vivobook S15 gives you a lot for your money. Our roundup video on all the Snapdragon laptops will be linked below. Back on this new X Plus processor, let's talk about performance. When comparing its multi-core score to the X Elite chip, we are seeing about a 20% drop in Geekbench and around the same in Cinebench. We were expecting a greater drop in performance, as you are moving from 12 cores down to 8. But there are thermal and power delivery constraints holding the X Elite processor back in the Vivobook S15. We know this as Lenovo's Slim 7X has the same processor but performs better. Unfortunately, when it comes to comparing this new processor to the 10-core X Plus chip, we do not have that configuration of the Vivobook S15, so we can only compare it to the X Plus processor in our Surface Laptop 7. The Surface is a smaller laptop and likely has different thermal constraints, so take this with a grain of salt. Anyway, we saw a 10% drop in Geekbench and a 5% drop in Cinebench from the 10-core X Plus to this new 8-core variant. These multi-core performance scores are somewhat similar to the older Zen 4 Ryzen 7 8840HS in our ZenBook 14. Compared to Apple's M3 equipped MacBook Air 15, the Air beats this laptop in Geekbench, but the M3 Air loses to the Snapdragon processor in Cinebench. Keep in mind the MacBook Air does not have a fan to cool its processor. This means in long-running tests such as Cinebench, it does not perform at its best. The M3 chip in the MacBook Pro 14 does have a fan and goes a long way to closing this gap. Overall, multi-core performance is a bit better than we were expecting. The good news doesn't end there though. The target users of these laptops are likely doing less intensive tasks, like I said, ones that are more single core dependent, and those speeds are mostly unchanged from the more powerful 10-core X Plus chip. This means those users may not notice a difference getting a laptop with this new processor. And it's for these people that the MacBook Air with its M3 processor still shines, being far ahead in single core performance. If you do care about the NPU performance for on-device AI tasks, it is unchanged from the more powerful Snapdragon processors. Battery life is also a winner. It doesn't drop its performance at all when on battery, and when running high-performance tasks, it delivers significantly longer battery life than the Snapdragon with the more powerful processor. No surprising, as it's not as powerful. In our video playback test, battery life is again significantly better. It lasted over 2 hours more than our Vivobook S15 with the X Elite chip. Finally, onto the bad news. When it comes to graphics, we tested Wildlife Extreme, and this processor does indeed perform about half as well as the other Qualcomm chips. This means laptops powered by this chip are flat out abysmal for graphical intensive tasks such as gaming or 3D rendering. And this leads us nicely into our conclusion. For the intended user of these new X Plus 42100 powered laptops, i.e. those doing light tasks, this new configuration of the Vivobook is a good option. For these kind of buys, you get essentially the same laptop but with better battery life, no noticeable difference in performance, at least for the tasks that you're likely to do, and they are cheaper. This Vivobook has an MSRP of $900, which is $200 less than the version with the 10-core X Plus processor and $400 less than the one with the X Elite. We have a hard time thinking why such a buyer would want one of the more expensive versions. Before you go out and buy one though, you may be interested to know that there is a cheaper version of the Vivobook S15 with Intel's Core Ultra 7 available. Who would have thought that Intel processors are now the cheapest? As it has an Intel processor, it isn't an apples to apples comparison. That processor does not have the same power efficiencies, and therefore will likely have poorer battery life, more heat you feel, and potentially some fan noise. But it may be a better buy for people who use specialist applications. Many of these do not run natively on Windows on ARM, which is the version of Windows that all these Qualcomm laptops use. This means they may not run well or may not run at all, which isn't a problem on Intel laptops. Plus, Intel's Core Ultra processor has significantly more powerful integrated graphics. And when talking about graphics in this price range, you could buy an IdeaPad 5 Pro 16. That laptop includes a far more powerful dedicated NVIDIA graphics, but there will be sacrifices. You'll be giving up the excellent screen and battery life of the Vivobook S15, for example. Anyway, there are certainly alternatives to consider in the price range. One that we don't think you should look at is a Chromebook. Sure, they are designed for light use, same as what we recommend these for. But Chrome OS is still more limiting than even Windows on ARM. Plus, in general, Chromebooks are of a poorer quality than these laptops. Finally, many of these laptops go on big sales, making them even more desirable. We do expect this one to drop to $700. Our website is the place to find the best deals on them and to see all the laptops that we recommend for various types of buyers, so go check that out. Well, that's all we got. Pretty short video. I'm almost bored telling you about it. Go have a great day and I'll catch you later.